And we're live. Cadence, don't go anywhere because I got something for you in just a second. Hey, welcome to another Live and Unscripted with yours truly, Jen Saunders, and soon Leah, and a special guest this morning who actually just found out 3 seconds ago she's a special guest. So, oh my gosh, we have some cool stuff for you today. We are going to chat about all the things that we talked about in the description. But before we get there, we're going to start how we always start and just say, welcome. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. We know there's a lot of places that you could put yourself or your attention. And we just want to say thank you for being right here, right now. And speaking of being right here, right now, we always start the program with 60 to 90 seconds of breathing, where it's really just an opportunity for you to let go of what's already happened in your day and let go of what you think is going to happen in your day and find yourself in the present moment where you can actually pay attention. You can actually step into or lean into what's going on right here in front of you. And it really helps us as well because your presence allows for inspiration to really take place in beautiful ways and in ways that there may be some yummy bits said that are just for you. So we're going to do simple box breathing today. And as we do it today, I'm going to invite you to find any negative or just crappy shiz that you got feeling in your body. And as you breathe in, just notice that. And as you breathe out, release that. On your next breath, you're going to breathe in something you would rather be experiencing or feeling. So it's going to be a slow breath in, 4 or 5 counts through your nose. You're going to hold that inhale for 4 or 5 counts and then release it through your mouth. 4 or 5 counts. And then you're going to hold that exhale for 4 or 5 counts. So again, letting go of anything you don't want to be feeling, something that's weighing you down, and bringing in something that feels better, more energizing, and maybe even just relaxing. Maybe today you just need to relax. Bring in those thoughts and feelings as you're breathing. So I'm going to invite you to do this with either a downward gaze or closed eyes, whichever is most comfortable for you. And we'll do the first one together. And then I'll leave you be to do 2 or 3 on your own. So taking that downward gaze or closed eyes, breathing in through your nose, slow 4 or 5 count, holding that inhale, finding what you want to release, breathing it out for 4 or 5 count. Holding that exhale, breathing back in the feelings you want to be feeling, and you're on your own for a couple of sets. Feel free to finish up the set that you're in or start one more. All right. I'm laughing because I can see our guests in the green room and they're cracking me up right now. Okay, so how do you feel? I know for me, when I take those moments, when I start this broadcast, I'm always just like really excited to be here and I'm a little bit ramped up and my speaking may be really fast, which it's really fast a lot of times anyway. I'm going to own that and be okay with that. However, when I take those moments to just breathe, I find my heart slowing down. I find my brain slowing down and I can put things in a little bit more organized fashion and just really lean into you and being here with you, which is exactly where I want to be right now. So that feels so yummy, doesn't it? Okay, so we're so excited to tell you about Camp CPR, about why we changed the name, and all of the other things that are on the list that is chicken scratched right now. So I'm just going to bring Leah on so she can help guide this. I should hit show and stream and not exit. Ta-da! have Leah, but we also have the lovely Cadence with her as well. Cadence, introduce yourself.
So my name is Cadence. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
No. Why don't you start with
Who are you?
the story?
What story? Sorry, I'm new to this.
First of all, who are you? Why are you standing next to Leah?
Because I'm her daughter.
Oh, you're her daughter, right? Oh my gosh,
Yes.
it's awesome to have you on here, and thanks for taking the challenge of just staying present. And okay, so we may have just had a conversation before we got on here about part of what Cadence does in the world and how she shows up. And I may have thrown down a challenge that, well, now she's just going to get to do it whether she likes it or not.
So Jen's challenge to me was to do my very first live. I have a fitness account and I'm very shy talking on camera. So that was Jen's challenge to me. And initially I was like, no, I can't do that. But here I am. So hello.
Right? Live. Hey, will you share the story? Yesterday, Cadence and I had a quick conversation about what she's doing and some of the feelings that come up when we're trying new things and we feel maybe a little bit less than, or like we don't know enough, and I learned that later in the day she had an opportunity to like really stand in her light and in her power and in her authority. Cadence, do you mind sharing that story?
Yes. So as mentioned before, I recently started like a fitness account that I've been really wanting to do for a couple years, but I never.
Wait, what is that fitness account? How do people find you?
On Instagram.
What's the name?
Cadence.ARIXANNA. So it's like Ariana, but with an X.
We'll put that in the comments so you guys can find her later.
Perfect. So I told Jen that I was not an influencer by any means. And she was like, well, what's your purpose? And I'm like, well, to teach people, to like just express my journey, to share my journey, and to hopefully like, and then I paused and I was like, influence other people, right? But I'm like, I'm not like your standard influencer. Like, I'm not here to match the aesthetic of anything. I'm not here to like fit into everyone else's little perfect little space. And so Jen was like, well, then what does that make you? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, a rebel influencer. And I'm like, you know what? You are so right, Jen. So yeah, it's my new title, I guess.
Right. And did you have an opportunity to share that with someone yesterday?
I did. So I went out to Toronto to a Leafs game and I was just talking to this one guy. And he called me an influencer. I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes. I'm not an influencer. I'm a rebel influencer, actually. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you have to understand. Like, I was talking to Jen, and he's like, who's Jen? I'm like, the sickest person I've ever met, by far. So I told him all about it, and I was able to share that story with him, which was really good. And he had a little bit of an understanding about it afterwards.
So I think it's awesome. Like, this is one of the things I love about when we put out there what it is we want to do. We're always going to get a practice ground. Almost 100% of the time we're going to get a practice ground. I love that yours came so quickly. And so like when that was presented to you from someone else that you're an influencer, you're like, whoa, pump the brakes. I'm more than that. I'm a what?
I'm a rebel influencer, Jen.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
How did that feel to like actually have an opportunity to say that out loud to someone else who's asking you and be like, no, this is just what I do?
It felt great. It felt like I was unique and that I was like kind of redefining the whole influencer Instagram thing. So it was really awesome for sure.
I love it. Oh my gosh. And I'm totally celebrating you right now because I totally, you guys, I seriously just put her on the spot because she came in to talk to her mom as we were going live. And I said, hey, hang on.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. And I'm like dressed, ready to go.
Hey, okay. So speaking of being influencers, we took pictures yesterday. Well, I took pictures yesterday because Cadence and I have been talking about this. And, you know, I took my influencer pictures and they were sassy
They were sick.
for
Yeah.
like chic lumberjacks.
Oh, yeah.
Can I put them in the comments, Jen?
I don't care. And I also learned, and I knew this before, I'm like, if I share these with Cadence, there's a really good chance they're going to show up in other places. So a practice ground. Cadence will be excited to see your influencer shots.
Yes.
But then
I'll have to do like a comparison picture.
yes,
See how well I matched up to.
I can't wait to see your chic lumberjack look.
You'll see them later. Guaranteed.
But even more than that, I'm excited to introduce you to the Rebel family, the Righteous Rebel family, and to you guys go follow her. Like, this is what we're here for. And it is to support each other in our dreams and in our visions and in our mission and in our passions and our purpose. This is what we're here for. So we'll make sure that you know how to get a hold of this Rebel influencer, the lovely Cadence, and you can follow her, support her, listen to the good things she has to say, and comment, share her out. So Cadence, thanks for stepping into that. You're so brave.
Thank you so much for having me.
I will look forward to seeing that other video later.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
Hey.
I got you, Jen.
Hey.
All right.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. We'll see you.
I'll bring you back in now.
All right. So we thank you for that pause and just like a little bit of practice ground right here in Rebel Land, completely live and unscripted. So for those of you who are new, most of what we do here is live and unscripted. Partly because when I started this program, I had reached out to people across the world and said, hey, I want to know what's cool about you. And after about a 15-minute initial like conversation, I would say to them, are you interested in doing a podcast with me? I think you have a lot of cool things to share with the world, and I would like to share you out. It was absolutely amazing. You can find those interviews on the jennifersaunders.com page under the podcast tab. I didn't love like going in and having to edit all the things. And I just love the live nature of things and the inspiration that happens in the moment. So I shifted gears. We've just been doing it right here on Facebook land and now Righteous Rebel land. And we are looking into hosting those in a different place. I don't know if we're going to host those on the new website that we're building. We'll let you know. But for right now, welcome, and thanks for being a part of the magic. Leah, what do you have to say?
Reminder, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Jen's LinkedIn. So they are there now. I don't think we've uploaded anything to the other one, but
okay.
And there is a YouTube channel there too.
Awesome. See again, Leah with the hello, here's where you can find us, because I just don't really think about those things. Oh, the magic of having a partnership and bringing your special talents together has been absolutely incredible, which we're excited to share with you today about the amazingness that has been going on. Last week, we talked to you about to goal or not to goal. Super fun conversation. If you haven't listened to it, you can go to YouTube, my LinkedIn page. You can find it right here on this page. Where else, Leah?
I think that's good, Jen.
You can find it. And if you want some assistance, just reach out. We'll make sure that you get the links for that. So, Leah, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about rebel, what it is to be a rebel, and what is rebel culture, and the vision of what Rebel Land is going to be, or what we envision it to be, and the safe places that we're cultivating. And I just hear myself say, there it is again. Awareness is the first step to any sort of change.
And you know what? If you say, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
No judgments here. You get to be real. You get to be you. And hey, Leah, will you do me a favor and pull up Righteous Rebels on your phone. Are you seeing this live on
I
the
can.
Facebook group?
On the Facebook group?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it live inside the Facebook group. I was going to manage comments, and this is also part of the Righteous Rebel community. Is we practice burning the pancakes together. Like when we fall down, you're going to know, because we want you to know that you're safe doing the same thing. Okay, I'm just not finding it. Will you keep track of any comments that may come through?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So yeah. So Leah, I have a question for you in regards to talking before we like really dive into what Rebel Land is and Camp CPR and the name change and all of that. What enticed you to be a part of this? Like, what was it about it? I so want to be a smart aleck right now, but I'm not going to. That enticed you to this and really like got you on board of this is something I want to get behind and like honestly share gifts and talents and you with this community.
That's a big question, Jen.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay, so I think at first it was your T-shirt that really caught my attention in India, because it bugged me. Because I was like, what is Rebi? Because if you see it's capital R-E-B, big B-E, and then a small L. So to me, it looked like an I. I'm like, what the heck is Rebi? So after asking you, I understood. I still didn't like the T-shirt, but I understood. And I really like the message behind the being and what it means to be a rebel. Now, when I think of rebel, I think of someone that is trying to go against the grain, what is socially acceptable. I think of my mom. She always used to call her, she was always very rebellious in her youth. We're from Nicaragua and they were having a civil war, and she was like 17 or something, and she went off to join the military, of course, by secret and all this stuff. And I think of the stories that I know from there, and just, I really liked the being part of being a rebel, that it's not about, making other people uncomfortable. It's not about breaking rules. It's about doing what's true to you, even if sometimes that rubs people the wrong way, and how to live authentically. And that's something I believe in and strive to do. And sometimes it's more comfortable than others. And it's been a journey in the last few weeks, really diving into what rebel culture looks like. And yeah, that's what kind of caught my attention.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So you said a couple of things about going against the grain, and what was another thing? Making people uncomfortable. And I want to talk to those just a little bit, because I remember a few years ago when I started this whole concept of, I was in a coaching program with a man who started teaching me, and then I facilitated with him in their company called Outlook Development. And I had decided that I needed more coaching. It was time for just some next level coaching. And so I created Rebel Coaching. And one of the guys there ended up being 3 students in this coaching. It's one of those things that it turned into something that I didn't expect it to be, but was actually really fantastic and awesome. When I thought it was just going to be me and the coach, it ended up being this group, and we were creating business, which was really amazing and unexpected. But one of the guys, we were presenting our information to each other, and James was another student in the class, and I presented Rebel Coaching, and I watched his face. And then he was like, I just don't know. I don't know that like this is for me, and I don't want to be a rebel. And I don't even remember what he said. And I was like, boom, James, you are one of my ideal clients for the very things that you just said. So being a rebel for me is, yes, you a lot of times do have to go against the grain, and it's super uncomfortable. I don't like getting slivers, but sometimes you're going to get slivers. And every once in a while, some of those things may fester, and it's going to take some attention, especially when we don't give them the attention they require in the moment that the crap happens. It is probably going to cause some discord or discomfort amongst the people around you because you're acting or being different. For so long, I heard that word, you're just different, you're different, you're different. And man, that stung. And it didn't just sting, it in some instances, it was like a knife wound to my soul. Cause it's like, wait a minute, you're telling me that I'm different, but I'm the same person. I'm just showing up in a little bit different way that feels more authentic for me. I'm living more of my actual truth versus the truth that maybe you have given me or presented to me to live. So you are going to make people uncomfortable more than likely.
What I think is really interesting about that is that, sorry to interrupt, Jen.
No, go ahead.
But I think of how much we put ourselves in discomfort by trying to make other people more comfortable, and how long we're willing to carry that and deny ourselves things that bring us joy, things that feel good, and and how much that really suffocates our soul and our way of expressing ourselves. Why do we do that? You know, some could argue for the greater good, but if everyone's doing that, what good are we actually doing?
I love that you bring that up, because that actually was part of my truth at the moment too, is following what I had been taught of what it means to be happy, which was making all the people around me, or keeping all of the people around me happy, which meant a lot of times I was going against maybe the things I wanted to do, or the things that I felt to be true in my heart, or, you know, what a truth looked like for me versus how it was presented to me as a truth. So a rebel isn't necessarily like, we hear about rebel forces, you know, they're going out and they're causing havoc and they're killing people and all of the things, but there are other kinds of rebel forces, and righteous rebel is not about going out and intentionally being a hellion or intentionally creating havoc for other people. It's about coming home to yourself. It's about really discovering what feels good in your heart. It's about hearing your voice, and the one that's calling you to that thing outside of the circles or the boxes that you live in. It's the one asking you to take risks because it knows what you need for your growth and where you need to go. And whether you're religious or spiritual, it knows the agreements that you've made with God or the universe or yourself of why you're here on this planet, like what you actually came for, what you wanted to learn, how you wanted to grow. So it's not about causing trouble. It's about lessening the trouble, actually, because you know how to stand inside of yourself comfortably, or to be comfortable in discomfort. I know that you're going to be okay, even when everyone around you is pointing fingers or saying harsh things. You know that you're okay because you're home with yourself, and that's part of what Rebel and Rebel Land is all about. Leah, thoughts?
I just, as you're talking, I'm thinking it's really about having love enough for yourself to stand up and have those boundaries. You know, that to me, before I felt like I didn't have boundaries around my time, around, I just didn't even know what I wanted because I was so busy attending to everyone else that I remember someone asked me once, like, where do you want to go for a trip if you could go anywhere? And I remember answering with, my kids or my husband in mind. And they're like, no, I mean, like, where do you want to go? Where's somewhere that's special to you? And I remember how jarring that question was, because I never asked myself that. And what I love about rebel culture is it's about having the boundaries to make space for yourself instead of shrinking down and just trying to fit everyone else in, but having no room left for yourself, because you're giving and giving to everyone else's wants and needs. And of course there's a place for that, but there has to be a place for you as well. And I love the point about standing in your light and using your voice so you are seen, so you are heard. It's really about having self-love. We talk about it in the Facebook group about, what do you need today? Like, it is a rebellious act to say, I need this time right now. I need to take a break. Because we're so into this rebel, or not rebel, we're so into this hustle culture that you don't do enough, you aren't enough, you're not producing enough, like it's never enough. And it's exhausting, and really just trying to bring us back to who we want to be, how we want to show up and experience our world.
I thank you for that. As you're talking, I was thinking, and enough, you get to be whatever that is here, and it's enough. There's absolutely no expectation to like go out and do these grand things, or to have to be an influencer in the ways that someone else is doing it. And you don't have to create this grand, beautiful anything. If your goal is to just learn how to, I don't even know, like, you don't have to be anything. You're great simply because you're showing up. And we're here to support you in that. And maybe sometimes that's just what you need, is to come to a space where you can just be seen, or you can make a comment in the comments of something that we're posting that was a little bit subliminal, out loud, to make comments in the comments of the things we're posting. And to know that we support that. We support you, and we support your bravery and your courage in doing that. I think so many times it's just put upon us of like what greatness is, and that you've got to be doing all these grand things and have huge followings, and, speaking in front of bajillions of people, and artwork that's in museums, and music that gets published. And when the reality is, if you're an amazing babysitter, then by damn, be an amazing babysitter. And if you're a mom who loves staying home with her kids, and that actually brings you joy and fulfillment, then be that thing. Although that is just something that you do, there is beingness in that. And if you're someone who loves to clean houses, dang, then you do that with the best that you have in you, because it's fulfilling for you. The comparison thing here, we're just going to drop it. We're just going to invite you to leave it at the door. And I'm going to tell you, I have to gut check myself sometimes too. In all the things that we teach and that we present, we as a team are doing either individually or as a team, because we know the value of doing them ourselves. And if we're going to ask you to do it, then we better be doing it ourselves. So when it comes to things like comparison, or feeling inadequate, we're human. We feel those things too. And we're making our best commitment to you to leave that stuff at the door and not bring it in with us. And if we feel it, we're going to talk about it. We're just going to as is all of the things. Part of Rebel Land is owning your story. All of it. All of it. I was just about to say good, bad, ugly, but I don't really believe in that. It's just experiences. It's all the experiences that have shaped and molded you over the course of your life. And every one of them matters. Every one of them matters. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have to speak to every one of those, but I want you to know that they matter because they've made you who you are. And they also give you opportunity to see places where maybe you want some things to be different or you want to grow in a certain direction. And this is a place where you get to be you, 100% you, with the experiences that have brought you to this point. I have to sneeze. So, Leah?
Bless you, Jen. I just want to speak a little bit to that and the kind of atmosphere that we're wanting to create here. I mean, how often do you go places and people say, "Hey, how are you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine." Here, it's like between Jen and I, it's become an F word. Did you just F bomb me? I'm fine. Like, let's try. We try and challenge each other to come up with a more energized word to describe how we're feeling, or the same with good. And you'll see some of that in our word energy posts that are coming up. Those have been a lot of fun, just to chat about the different energies between, what was one that we did yesterday? Kind and nice, right? Yes. And the energy behind those. And just really just understanding how powerful our words are and how much energy and meaning is behind them that we just totally take for granted. Like I was telling Jen yesterday, we're trying to find a graphic to go with it. And I was like, nice to me feels like the thumbs up. Like,
Right.
You know, when you look at them, I hate that. Like,
I
know yeah, that's right. It's like acknowledgement, but it's like whereas kind, you had, what was the picture we picked for kind? I can't remember now.
It was speaking heart.
Yes. Speaking.
You guys are going to love it. It's so cute.
You know, and it's just really interrupting our patterns. You know, I love a story Jen told me a few weeks ago now. I think it was about when she was doing personal training and she'd meet with people and, you know, she'd ask them like, tell me what you're looking for. And they list like all their complaints and stuff. And then she'd ask them, okay, what's good about your life? Yeah, what's good about your life? What can we celebrate? What is exciting? And that's really the reason behind the morning and evening posts. Like, what can we get excited about to start our day so we're in a good mindset? And also, what can we be grateful for? What can we share? How can we, you know, was it a sunrise? Was it, you know, what made you smile? Like, just bringing good feelings and cultivating that space to show up in a way that we're not taught to, and where we're often encouraged to elaborate on our complaints and elaborate on everything that's wrong and who has the bigger problem, who has the greater joy, damn it. Like, how can we spread the joy? Because energy is so contagious. And if we can start our days with joy or end them with joy, how can that ripple off into the other people that we interact with in all the things that we do? So that's what is awesome about Rebel Land. And that's
thank you.
so
as you're talking, what's that?
Did you have a good sneeze?
No, it wouldn't come out. But a really cool thought popped in as you were talking, and it's part of being a rebel. And going back to the story that she shared is it was always fascinating when someone would come to my desk and share all those things, and I would just tell them, my job is, I want you to know that I've heard you, but my job is to fill you up with so much yumminess that the stuff that doesn't feel so good, that's icky, just automatically drops out. We're not really going to have to work so hard or grind or get in and just, barf out all of. What happens is when we focus on the good, guess what happens? I don't even like the word good, but it popped. When we focus on things that feel yummy and that are exciting and that make us feel alive, when we focus on more of that comes to us. And all the stuff, it's so stuck right there. All the stuff that is like lower energy and we just like want to drag around and act like that stuff starts to automatically fall away because there's just not room for it anymore. Now, let's be real. We're human. We wear skin. We have memories. We carry things in our bodies, and it's going to show up. And that's okay because you'll have the tools to know how to continue filling yourself with lots of yumminess. So that stuff starts to heal and drop away automatically. And you get to start consciously creating the life you want to be living. And I know that sounds kitschy, and it is, but that's really what it is. It's about you becoming aware of you and what you want, how you want to be in this world, the things you want to experience, and then creating it to happen. We're about creating creators.
Yes. That was another big draw for me, Jen, Inside and Out, where we can go out to explore and adventure and just being out in the open and experiencing and being in that state of awe really makes you come inwards and feel and just have that experience. And what I feel creativity is, and we've had that discussion, but you're taking what's in you and bringing it out into the world. And those are both big acts of courage. And they take being bold, being brave, and being a rebel, going counter to what we've been taught and the stories that we tell ourselves.
So true.
Definitely.
So true. And what I love about the inside out concept too is, when people ask me why I do that, well, one, it's my favorite F word. It's fun. It's fun. And usually there's food by way of snacks. And you guys are going to hear that all the time. I'm just going to add it, snacks. I'm always going to bring that in. One, because it's funny and it makes you laugh. And two, because you got to have snacks.
Jen, have you posted when you didn't have snacks and you were climbing those mountain hills? And that scream, I could still hear that scream. No!
Right? That's what it feels like. And that's what it feels like when we allow the guardians of the mind to keep telling us, no, not safe. Can't do that. But what I love about the outside adventuring is the guardians, they kind of get caught off guard and they're looking around and they're like, wait, that actually looks like fun. I think I want to go do that too. Like, do you want to go do that too? I want to, yeah, let's put down our like fancy hats and our swords and we're going to go do that too. And then what happens is then you get to go inside and take a peek around without someone saying, don't go there. No, it's not safe for you to know what's inside your heart and your mind. Don't you dare. But you're getting you're building courage.
What do you mean?
Right? You're building courage as you do these challenging physical things, or you're building like love for yourself when you're out in nature and realizing how amazing it is and how amazing you are. So then you can go inside, and taking care of the inside stuff is a little bit more joyful. It doesn't, again, feel like you're just grinding away or having to do this. I'm not going to tell you it's comfortable, because sometimes it's just downright uncomfortable. And it's okay, because you have people to do it with, to support you and say, you're going to get through this. We got you. We got you. And then, to, like Leah said, to wake up the creative parts of you that have already been screaming to get out. And the guards are like, no, don't you?
You're going to look funny. You don't know what you're doing. Oh my God, don't do it.
Right? And you're going to be brave enough to put it out there into the world. And what an incredibly beautiful and amazing thing to experience after the vulnerability coma goes away.
Yeah.
We're going to speak truth to you here. And sometimes that happens too. So,
but that's why it's a practice of being brave. It's a practice in courage, and it's supposed to be messy. It's like, I loved your live yesterday about, just joking around about silly things to name, one of our events. And then a really good one popped out. Like it was in being in the mess, and you wouldn't have gotten that if you didn't play around with it. And we're okay with
laugh. You got to be able to laugh at yourself in the process. I seriously thought I was so stinking funny yesterday. And I was. I'm just going to say I was laughing. So it was funny. So talking about that creative process and and Leah and I going inside and creating in ways that we're bringing it outside of us. So we're presenting it to you and to the world at large, because we are going to ask you to and invite you to share what we're creating, which feels scary. And at the same time, it's so freaking exciting because we know what we're bringing and it's magical. But here's the bigger piece of why I absolutely love about what's going on right now. Other than amazing, huge waves of emotion moving through my system, I feel so much gratitude right now for the creation process that has been taking place in the Righteous Rebels, because it has been a concept that's been in my head for a really long time. And I've been formulating things, and I've taken the classes, and I've done the coaching, and I've hired this person, and I've hired that person. I've looked for a partner because I knew it's something so much bigger than myself, that there would need to be more than one of me and someone who can think maybe a little differently than me. And we can bring our talents together. And I'll tell you what, I've bumped into a million walls in that experience. And I have felt all the emotions of, am I really enough? Do I know enough? Am I creative enough? Where is all this playing getting me? And what good is fun if it's never going to come to fruition in what I'm wanting to create? And because I wanted to do it differently. To me, it was very important that the Righteous Rebels is led with heart, and that everything that we create, whether it's Camp CPR, which we'll talk about here in a minute, or it's an adventure that we're going to do, or it's a workshop, or it's a speaking. We're not calling them speaking. We're calling them edutainer events. That you're going to get the very best because we intend to lead with heart. I'm not going to sell you things by giving you lots and lots of words. I do not want to try and convince you to do anything. I want to speak truth to you. And in a few words, things that touch your heart, that when they ring true, you just are like, that's it. That's it. And that's my promise to you as one of the Righteous Rebels, is that I will always do my best to lead with heart and give you my heart in everything that I do. Whether it's coming on and doing something like this, again, whether we're speaking or teaching, whatever, leading an adventure, you will get my heart. I just think it's super important. And part of my hope is to maybe give you what's a different education on what this kind of stuff can feel like. And it feels really rebellious because there's not very many people out there doing it. And I've bumped up against a lot of people who say, no, you have to do it this way. Nope, that won't work. People don't. And I don't believe that, because I believe you're more intelligent and more inspired than that. And that's the piece of you that I desire to bring out, because I know that you have your own things that you're wanting to create and bring into the world. And you're wanting it to do in ways that feel genuine and authentic and loving and kind. Do you like I tossed in all of those energy words?
Absolutely.
But I mean it. So as we go forward in creation, that also is part of what this community is about, is that we lead with heart. And again, we're human. We're going to fumble sometimes. We're going to get caught up in our brains, and we're going to talk about that when it happens, because we want you to know that you can too. So Leah, thoughts on that?
I just echo what you say, and I think that's why I'm so on board, and why this whole Rebel Land has really caught fire in my heart. And because I know that feeling as well of not feeling like it fits, or I can fit into that system, because it just doesn't feel right. Whether it might seem like semantics, what we call a funnel versus, maybe it's more like a waterfall. A funnel sounds like, it's it's a transaction.
Sometimes Leah has to make words feel good for me. We got to find the ways that they have better energy.
They do have energy, and if you can't stand behind what you're doing because it doesn't feel right to you, and it comes from a place of I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but if it doesn't come from a place in your heart and you're just doing it because that's what everyone else does, I mean, really, those systems were implemented to work for people who've created them, but it doesn't mean that there's not another way or another way to look at it that feels right to you, and that you can serve and show up in the way that you want to, because we've all been on the other side. We all buy things, we all get hooked into things, and that's just not. We want to speak to your heart, and that's what I love about this. So it's a great opportunity to explore what a heart-based mission looks like.
I love it. And I was like, ooh, do I want to talk about that? I don't know that I do. If we tell you, like, I don't love working in the world of scarcity. I'm just going to put it that way. And if we tell you, like, hey, we only have this much available, that's just the truth. That's just the truth. It's not a gimmick to try and get you to buy things. It's actually the truth. And in that truth, it is also like a call to action. Like, there really are only this many spots. And if you want to be a part of it, then be bold, be brave, and get yourself signed up. So there's that. So let's talk about Camp CPR.
Yes, create playful rebellion. CPR, bringing you back to life.
Yes. Right? Yes. Okay, wait. You said a word. Another way. First of all, I love that you use the word another way. That was one of my most favorite concepts that I learned and got to teach when I was with Outlook Development. And thank you, Doug and Jamie, for bringing that to my world and all the difference that it has made. And that is something we will continue to bring to you as well. You'll hear us ask, is there another way? Is there another way? And there's almost always, always another way, or several. Sometimes we just don't always see it, which is another great reason to have community, because you can reach out and ask the people around you for suggestions or ideas. So Camp CPR. I got this brainchild several years ago to create a grown-up girls summer camp. It sounds cool. Like, I created a cool graphic. Well, I thought it was a cool graphic. It worked at the time. And I did it. I did a couple of them. And then things just morph. And last summer, I was like, after being asked what it is I do, which I've never been a fan of that question because I never really knew how to answer it. And after I had asked a few people, their answer was, you bring people back to life, or you bring me back to life. I was like, what? Like, I was shocked. And bring out the AED, clear. That's kind of how it felt. Although I've never had that, so I don't know how that feels, but I've watched movies, so I have an idea of how that might feel. Okay, stop. My mind just going because it's so excited and happy. So I'm a huge fan, and you'll see this in our stuff as well, celebrating all wins. And so Camp CPR originally was Celebrate Playful Rebellion. And when I was presented the gift and the gifts of Leah and the gifts that she brings, and her world was creativity, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so absolutely perfect. And as I was finding ways of whether or not, or what it looked like to have Leah be a part of Righteous Rebels in a way that she got to have ownership in this, I was like, this is so absolutely perfect, because that C can actually be create. And like I said a few minutes ago, I'm all about creating for myself, but also creating more creators, bringing the world to life, bringing you to life, because we need a whole lot more of that. So that's how Camp CPR kind of came about in the way that it is. Do you want to talk about that just a little bit, Leah?
As far as events or what we want those events to look like,
Yeah,
or
kind of like what's behind. I know I just totally threw that at you.
that's okay. I've kind of learned to go with that, Jen. So Camp CPR is really about, like Jen said, bringing you back to life. And what the heck does that mean? We're often in an autopilot. We got to go to work. We got to, do the kid stuff. If we have kids, we got to do the pet stuff. We got to, pay the bills. We got to do all these things.
I call it living zombies.
Yes, living zombies. And Camp CPR is about bringing your kid on. It's about taking time to really appreciate and notice things and really reignite your curiosity. It's about being okay with quote unquote failure. I have a big issue with the word failing because I don't believe we ever fail, because in the process of the doing, we're learning. And how do you fail with learning something? Because it's going to inform your future decisions, and you're going to learn how to do it better. Another one of those energy words. But it's really about how to engage in your life and show up in ways that you want to, and stand in your light and be able to be seen and heard and live. Just really live.
I love it. Well, and there is so much value in doing something because you want to do it, not because someone else is saying it's important. And the reality is, we're going to tell you it's important because in our worlds, we have the experience of knowing the importance of it. And again, it's not that we're not going to try and convince you of anything. We're just going to speak our truth and our lived experience. And maybe the lived experiences of other people around us who also know these things. But there's so much value in play and in learning to have fun. And I know that you know what that is. And there's probably a few who don't really. So I used to say, I teach you how to have fun for the first time, and sometimes maybe for the first time, because I do believe there are a few of us on this planet who've lived challenging lives that really haven't had a lot of space to allow us to know how to have fun. And you know what? We're for you too. We're absolutely for you too. So it's about learning how, when you're having fun, how your body relaxes, how your mind slows, how your heart beats more in a synchronistic fashion, how there's this opening that happens. You breathe easier, like your lungs, things start to function in the ways that they were actually formed to function. Our bodies are freaking amazing, and they know how to function, and they know how to heal. It's all the other shiz that we got going on that gets in there and clogs things up and causes things to dysfunction. And so in playing, it's really about our favorite F word, having fun. But beyond that, it's about learning the value of that in your everyday lived experience and how that relaxed state of being assists you in being a spouse, in being a parent, in being a person who owns a business, in being a coworker, in being an employee, in being whatever it is you be. And so when you come to these events, we're going to be doing a lot of playing, and we're going to be doing a lot of creating because we want you to take it in, and we also want you to put it out. But there will also be points where we're going to invite you to bring an issue that you're trying to work on, whether it's inside your business or just inside your household. And we're going to do some finding another ways inside of the slower breathing, heart and synchronicity, brain that's slowed down with room to actually think about things differently. So Camp CPR, oh my gosh, we are totally celebrating playful rebellion and the value that brings into our lives. And we really hope that you will find yourselves at we've got 3 more events this year. That's a shameless plug right there. Yeah.
I think one thing that we don't talk about enough is just the new connections you're going to make, and
Oh man.
feeling supported by other people who are on a similar path as you and that want to stretch but are not sure really where to start, or don't feel like they can. Or, a thing I've heard myself say a lot is, am I allowed to really dive into this? Am I allowed to take this time for myself? Yes, you are allowed. You are allowed to want things. You're allowed to do things that are going to serve and enrich your life, because when you look after you, you can look after your people so much more effectively.
Absolutely. And this came to mind. I thought, and you're allowed to invest in yourself. Time, money, energy, snacks, all the things. You are allowed to invest in yourself. As Leah was talking, I thought, had I not allowed myself to take a really big risk and create the way to invest in myself with lots of dollars and lots of time, I would not have been able to sit at a table in India with 18 amazing people and have this opportunity right here, right now presented to me. I went to India to speak, not find a business partner and a bestie. But because I allowed that to happen, I trusted my gut and I trusted my heart. All of this amazingness is now happening. So the connections, I really appreciate you bringing that up. I think sometimes I forget that because sometimes it's just it's so natural for me to make those connections that I forget that people sometimes don't have that. So thank you.
Can I just, before we wrap up, I just wanted to share a little bit what's behind word energy, and a great example that was the beginnings of our conversations. So we were talking yesterday about the difference between nice and kind. And so when we first came back from India, I was working on an outreach letter to promote my book, to share my book out. And what was it? I had asked Jen for some feedback. I said, I've got this letter. I want to share it to the retirement community. What do you think? And the nice thing that Jen could have done, that a lot of other people in my world did, is, oh, it sounds great. Good job. And I personally, I hate that, because I don't feel like, and sometimes it's because people aren't sure how to give feedback. So it's not a diss to anyone that gave me feedback in that way whatsoever, because sometimes we just don't know how to give constructive feedback. But that could have been the nice thing that Jen did. But what did you do, Jen?
I asked myself, do I give the honest answer here, the kind answer, which could cause possible tension or uncomfortable feelings, or who knows? But I thought, no, she asked me, so I'm going to answer kindly. And I just said, hey, I think it looks great. There are some things that could be changed. There's too many words. There's not enough white space. And I think there's some ways to say things more succinctly. Although, as I'm laughing as I'm saying that, because I know sometimes when I'm talking, it's not very succinct. But we went in and together looked at the document, looked at each sentence and why it was written on the page, and the value that it had in what she was creating it for. And we created a really spanking awesome document that had beautiful white space, fewer words, but the words were more meaningful. They had more sink your teeth into them and taste the yumminess of them versus just words.
Painful.
But here's the beauty of it, though. Is she well, as Brene Brown says, she made that shitty first draft, and then she said, hey, what I know this isn't really how I want it to be. Are you brave enough to give me feedback? And are you brave enough to work on this with me? And really, that's what this is about, is having the courage, first of all, to feel for yourself, but then to feel with other people. We were made for connection. And sometimes it's really scary to feel or to think we're going to hurt somebody's feelings. Like that just is, it doesn't feel good. And leading with heart is about feeling. Part of it is about feeling. So, Leah, thanks for bringing that story up. That's I forget sometimes that that's really how things got started. Oh, she's frozen. So, all right. We're gonna end it there. We've got more things to talk about in regards to the Rebel Creed that we're creating and bringing you the word energy forms. Oh my gosh, you guys, those things are so cute. The little, like, I'm going to call them posters, the little posters that talk about the word energy and putting the two words out there, just again to start interrupting the patterns of thinking that we've been running for so long and creating those new pathways. We're so excited. We're so excited to bring to you all the things. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your efforts. We appreciate your energy. And most of all, we appreciate you. And we love you. And we got you. We hope you'll join us soon on one of our events or on our next Live and Unscripted. And remember, go in and make those comments. We love to hear them, and we will respond. Remember, stand in your light. The world's waiting for you. Be bold, be brave, be a rebel. We love you, and we'll see you soon.